Hello. Welcome back. It is good to see you again. In this video, we are going to complete our discussion of this chapter, Basic Computer Concepts. We will discuss Objectives 4, 5, and 6. We will begin with Objective 4, found on page 29. This objective is to identify types of software and their uses. To perform various tasks, the computer requires a set of instructions called programs. Programs enable people who do not have special computer programming skills to use a computer. There are two categories of software. The first one we will talk about is system software, and then we will talk about application software. System software provides the instructions the computer needs to run. For example, it gives the directions to the computer that it needs to start up. This is known as the boot process. System software consists of the operating system and utility programs. The operating system, also called the OS, is a special computer program that is present on every type of computer. The OS controls the way the computer works, from the time it is turned on until it is shut down. The operating system manages the hardware and coordinates with the software applications that are running. It also provides the interaction with the user, called the user interface. Most current operating systems today use a point-and-click format, known as a graphical user interface, or GUI. GUI is pronounced GUI. Mac OS was the first GUI. Mac OS is an operating system designed just for Apple Macintosh computers. Now let's move on to application software. Application software are programs that you use to accomplish tasks so that you can be productive. Applications are programs created to perform a specific task, solve a specific problem, or address a specific need. We will learn Word, Excel, Access, and PowerPoint applications later in this course. Let's talk about Objective 5 on page 40. This objective is to describe networks and define network terms. Connecting one computer to another creates a network. Networks consist of two or more connected computers, plus the various peripheral devices that are attached to them. Each object connected to a network, whether it is a computer or a peripheral device, is known as a node. Remember that because we will be mentioning nodes a lot. Can networks be different sizes? A network that connects computers reasonably close together, for example, within adjacent buildings, is called a local area network, or a LAN. On the other hand, if the network covers a larger geographic area, or includes other networks, it becomes a wide area network, called a WAN. Networks can also be configured in more than one way. There are two main categories of configuration: peer-to-peer and client-server. Peer-to-peer networks are also known as P2P networks. Peer-to-peer networks are most commonly found in homes and small businesses. In a peer-to-peer network, each node can communicate with every other node. They are easy to set up, but are usually small. This makes them ideal for home use, but not as desirable in the workplace. Once a network grows to more than 10 to 15 nodes, it is best to use the client-server network. In a client-server network, the server manages and controls all network resources. A node can be a computer, printer, scanner, modem, an external hard disk, or any other peripheral device connected to a computer. A client-server network has two different types of computers. The client is the computer used at your desk to write letters, send email, or perform any of the many tasks that can be accomplished with a computer. The client computer is the one most people interact with. On the other hand, the server computer is usually kept in a secure location and is used by network technicians and administrators to manage the network. If a server is assigned to handle only specific tasks, it is known as a dedicated server. For instance, a web server is used to store and deliver web pages. A file server is used to store and archive files. A print server manages the printing for the network. Each of these is a dedicated server. Network topology describes the different types of network architecture used for client-server networks. Just as there are different sizes and styles of buildings that are designed for different purposes, networks are designed to be physically configured and connected in different ways. There are 3 common layouts. The first is the bus topology. Bus topology connects each node to a single, central, high-speed line known as a bus. No server is used, and only one node can communicate with the others at a time. Because this is an inexpensive and easy way to connect, this topology is often found in peer-to-peer networks. Ring topology, sometimes is called token ring topology. Ring topology connects each node to the next, forming a loop or a circle. The data that is sent is passed from node to node, traveling around the circle in only one direction. The token travels around the ring until one of the nodes is ready to send the transmission. The node then holds the token until the transmission is finished, preventing any of the devices from sending until the token is released. Finally, the star topology is the most frequent networking style used for businesses and homes. It offers a high degree of flexibility. Each node is connected to a special device, known as a switch, which is centrally located. Each node must go through the switch to communicate with the others. If something happens to one node, the others are still able to communicate. Our last objective is discussed on page 44. This objective is to identify safe computing practices. The first step to protect your computer and the information it contains is to establish a regular maintenance routine. Backup utility programs enable you to back up your files. People often think that the computer is the most expensive item to replace if their hard drive fails. In reality, it is usually all the lost information that was contained on the hard drive that is the most costly to replace, if it is even possible to do so. The disk cleanup utility scans the hard drive and removes unnecessary files, such as those found in the recycle bin, temporary internet files, and other temporary files created by various programs. The disk defragmenter scans the hard drive. However, instead of removing files, it attempts to reallocate files so they use the available space more efficiently. Defragmenting a hard drive enables scattered portions of files to be regrouped and open spaces to be rearranged. This results in faster and more efficient file access, which improves the response time of the hard drive. Task Scheduler enables you to create a task and select the best time for each task to run. Sometimes, when new software is installed on a computer, the results are not what you anticipated. Even though you might have tried to uninstall the software, the system is still not right. Fortunately, if you are running a newer version of Windows, the System Restore utility comes to the rescue. Periodically, Windows creates a restore point, which records all the settings for your system. This lets you roll your system back to an earlier point in time when the system was working correctly. Think of it as an undo button for your operating system. Returning to an earlier restore point affects only your system settings. It does not delete any of the data files you may have created during the interval. Computer viruses are malicious codes or software designed to invade your computer and alter or destroy data without your knowledge. Viruses spread quickly. One of the most common ways to send a virus is through email attachments. Never open an email attachment unless you have first scanned it with antivirus software. A virus and a worm are similar, but not the same. Worms are also malicious programs that spread from computer to computer. However, unlike viruses, worms are able to do this without any human interaction and are able to replicate themselves, so numerous copies can be sent. Trojan horses are not truly viruses because they do not duplicate themselves or infect others. They open your system for other intruders, such as botnets. A botnet is a group of software robots that run automatically in networks, such as instant messengers. Once there, they generate spam. Spyware is software designed to capture personal information that resides on your system and send it elsewhere. The main threat of spyware is to your privacy. Although it is not intended to harm your system, it can sometimes have that effect on it. Adware is spyware that tracks your internet browsing and installs malicious cookies on your computers. A cookie is a small text file that contains information that can identify you to a website. Cookies are not necessarily bad. They are useful when they are used to help personalize your web browsing, but cookies can threaten your privacy if they are used to reveal too much information. Keyloggers are another type of spyware. In this case, a software program records every keystroke made on the computer. They can capture all sorts of confidential information, such as passwords, credit card numbers, and bank account numbers. Firewalls may be software programs or hardware devices, although their purpose is the same, to prevent unauthorized access to your computer. When it is installed properly, a firewall can make your computer invisible to hackers and other invaders. A firewall can help prevent infections and identity theft. You can access the firewall settings on your computer by clicking the Start button, Settings, Control Panel, Security, and Windows Firewall. We have now covered all 6 objectives for this chapter. Read and study the chapter to do well on the test. Goodbye.